In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers nourished the Fertile Crescent, the city of Uruk stood as a beacon of human ingenuity and ambition. Its towering walls, adorned with intricate carvings, shielded a bustling metropolis of merchants, artisans, and scholars. At its helm ruled Gilgamesh, a demigod king whose very name echoed with power and legend. Born of a divine mother, the goddess Ninsun, and a mortal king, Lugalbanda, Gilgamesh possessed an extraordinary lineage. He was two-thirds god and one-third human, a duality that manifested in his physical prowess and his insatiable thirst for glory. His towering figure, sculpted by the gods themselves, exuded an aura of authority and charisma that captivated all who beheld him. But Gilgamesh's divine heritage also proved to be his undoing. The mortal world, with its finite pleasures and fleeting triumphs, could not satisfy his yearning for more. He sought to transcend the limitations of his human existence, to leave an indelible mark on the world that would resonate through the ages. Driven by this insatiable ambition, he embarked on a relentless quest for power and immortality. Under his reign, Uruk underwent a remarkable transformation. Gilgamesh, driven by a vision of unparalleled grandeur, initiated a series of ambitious projects that pushed the boundaries of human endeavor. He commissioned the construction of towering ziggurats, their spiraling steps reaching towards the heavens as if to bridge the gap between the earthly and the divine. He fortified the city's walls, making them impenetrable to any would-be invader. He oversaw the creation of lush gardens where exotic plants and fragrant flowers bloomed in defiance of the harsh desert sun. The people of Uruk, inspired by their king's vision, toiled tirelessly to realize his grand designs. But as the city's splendor grew, so too did the burden on its inhabitants. Gilgamesh's demands became increasingly onerous, his ambition blinding him to the suffering of his people. The once vibrant city began to groan under the weight of his relentless pursuit of glory. The gods, watching from their celestial realm, grew concerned by Gilgamesh's excesses. They had bestowed upon him extraordinary gifts, but his unchecked ambition threatened to upset the delicate balance between the divine and mortal realms. To temper his arrogance and teach him the value of humility, they fashioned a wild man from the clay of the earth, Enkidu. Enkidu, untamed and unburdened by the complexities of civilization, roamed the wilderness. He lived among the animals, sharing their primal instincts and unbridled spirit. His strength rivaled Gilgamesh's, but his heart remained pure, untouched by the corrosive influence of power. He was a creature of instinct, guided by the rhythms of nature and the wisdom of the wild. A chance encounter with a hunter troubled by Enkidu's disruption of his traps set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of their lives. The hunter sought the counsel of a wise temple priestess, Shamhat, who recognized the divine hand at play. She saw in Enkidu the potential to challenge Gilgamesh's dominance and restore balance to the kingdom. Shamhat, renowned for her beauty and wisdom, journeyed to the untamed wilderness to meet Enkidu. With patience and understanding, she initiated him into the ways of humanity. She shared the pleasures of love, the comforts of clothing, and the sustenance of cooked food. Enkidu, captivated by her teachings, embraced his newfound humanity. But as he did, he gradually shed some of his raw power and connection to the natural world, a sacrifice demanded by the relentless march of civilization. The hunter, seizing his opportunity, lured Enkidu to the bustling metropolis of Uruk. News of this wild man reached Gilgamesh, igniting a spark of curiosity and a premonition of impending conflict. The two were destined to meet, their clash a testament to the eternal struggle between nature and civilization, ambition and contentment, the wild and the tamed. Word of Enkidu's arrival spread like wildfire through the streets of Uruk. The citizens, weary of Gilgamesh's tyrannical rule, saw in the wild man a glimmer of hope. They whispered of his strength, his untamed spirit, and his connection to the natural world. They believed he was destined to challenge their king, to break the chains of oppression that had bound them for so long. Gilgamesh, his curiosity piqued by the tales of this formidable stranger, eagerly awaited their encounter. He saw in Enkidu a reflection of his own untamed youth, a reminder of the primal instincts that he had suppressed in his relentless pursuit of power and glory. He sensed that their meeting would be a pivotal moment, a clash of titans that would shake the very foundations of Uruk. And as fate would have it, their paths crossed in the heart of the city, near the sacred temple of Ishtar, the goddess of love and war. The air crackled with anticipation as the two demigods locked eyes, their gazes burning with a mixture of curiosity, defiance, and a primal recognition of their shared strength. What followed was a battle of epic proportions. Gilgamesh, fueled by his thirst for dominance, unleashed a torrent of blows upon Enkidu. The wild man, drawing upon his innate connection to the earth and its creatures, fought back with ferocious intensity. The ground trembled beneath their feet, buildings shook, and the terrified citizens scattered in all directions. The clash of their fists echoed through the streets, a symphony of raw power and unbridled aggression. They grappled and wrestled, their bodies locked in a fierce embrace. Gilgamesh, drawing upon his divine heritage, seemed to have the upper hand. His blows landed with greater force and precision, but Enkidu, fueled by his primal instincts and his unwavering determination, refused to yield. As the battle raged, a strange transformation began to take place. The initial hostility that had fueled their confrontation gradually gave way to a grudging respect. Gilgamesh, accustomed to effortless victories, found himself facing an opponent who matched him blow for blow. Enkidu, who had never before encountered a being of such immense power, recognized in Gilgamesh a kindred spirit, a fellow traveler on the arduous path of self-discovery. In the end, neither could claim victory. Exhausted but exhilarated, they collapsed to the ground, their bodies entwined in a tangle of sweat and dust. As they lay there, catching their breath, a silent understanding passed between them. They had seen in each other a reflection of their own strengths and weaknesses, their aspirations and their fears. In that moment, a bond was forged, a brotherhood born of mutual respect and shared experience. Gilgamesh, humbled by the encounter, extended his hand to Enkidu. The wild man, his heart touched by this gesture of reconciliation, accepted it without hesitation. From that day forth, Gilgamesh and Enkidu were inseparable. They roamed the streets of Uruk together, their laughter echoing through the once silent alleyways. They shared stories of their past exploits, their dreams for the future, and their deepest fears and anxieties. They challenged each other, pushed each other to their limits, and celebrated each other's triumphs. Their friendship became a beacon of hope for the people of Uruk. They saw in Gilgamesh and Enkidu a model for a new kind of leadership, one based on mutual respect, cooperation, and a shared commitment to the well-being of the community. The once tyrannical king began to soften his harsh rule, listening to the counsel of his newfound friend and heeding the pleas of his subjects. Together, they embarked on a series of daring adventures, their exploits becoming the stuff of legend. They ventured into the depths of the cedar forest, where they confronted the fearsome guardian Humbaba. They braved the wrath of the goddess Ishtar, who sought to ensnare Gilgamesh in her seductive web, and they grappled with the profound mysteries of life, death, and the elusive quest for immortality. The scent of cedar hung heavy in the air, a mix of resinous sweetness and ancient power. Gilgamesh and Enkidu had finally reached the edge of the forbidding forest, its towering trees casting long, ominous shadows that danced and weaved in the dim light. The path before them was shrouded in mist, obscuring the unknown dangers that awaited them. Enkidu, his senses attuned to the rhythms of the natural world, felt a tremor of unease. He knew that the cedar forest was not merely a collection of trees, but a living entity imbued with the spirit of the gods and the wisdom of the ages. It was a place where mortals tread lightly, lest they incur the wrath of its fearsome guardian, Humbaba. Gilgamesh, however, remained resolute. His heart burned with ambition, his mind consumed with visions of the magnificent gate he would construct from the sacred cedar wood. He saw this quest not as a desecration, but as a tribute to the gods, a testament to his own power and ingenuity. Together they ventured into the heart of the forest, their footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of needles that covered the ground. The trees grew taller and thicker with each step, their branches interlacing overhead to form a natural canopy that blocked out the sun. The air grew still and oppressive, the silence broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of an unseen bird. As they pressed deeper into the forest, they encountered a series of trials that tested their courage and their resolve. Venomous snakes slithered through the undergrowth, their fangs dripping with deadly poison. Ferocious beasts, their eyes glowing with predatory hunger, stalked them from the shadows. Thorny thickets tore at their skin, leaving bloody trails in their wake. The journey through the cedar forest tested Gilgamesh and Enkidu as never before. Each obstacle seemed to mirror the conflicts within their souls. Gilgamesh's drive to dominate versus Enkidu's instinct to preserve. But undeterred, they pressed on, navigating the dangers with a growing synergy that merged Enkidu's instincts with Gilgamesh's determination. At last, they reached a clearing where the trees parted to reveal Humbaba, the monstrous guardian appointed by the god Enlil. Towering over them, Humbaba's visage was twisted with the energies of the forest itself, his breath alone causing the air to thrum with power. His eyes, glowing like embers, held a piercing wisdom, but also an ancient resentment against intruders who dared to approach his domain. Humbaba's voice rumbled through the forest. "Who dares enter this sacred place? You tread where no mortal should." His tone was a mix of menace and sorrow, as though he too was bound by duty to the forest he loved, a duty that denied him companionship and peace. Gilgamesh, undeterred, stepped forward and declared their purpose with boldness, while Enkidu's gaze remained steady but wary. Together, they stood as a testament to the duality of humanity, ambition and reverence, creation and destruction. Humbaba, sensing their resolve, challenged them not with words, but with a relentless fury. A brutal battle erupted, with Humbaba wielding the elemental forces of the forest, the winds, and the earth itself. Branches whipped like lashes, roots twisted up to trip their feet, and the ground beneath them threatened to swallow them whole. Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought as one, their combined strength forming a bond that neither had fully understood before. Just as Humbaba's force began to wane, Gilgamesh seized the moment to strike the final blow. But as he raised his weapon, he hesitated. Enkidu, feeling the conflict in his friend, whispered, "Show mercy, Gilgamesh. The forest and its guardian are as eternal as we wish to be." But the voice of ambition drowned out Enkidu's plea, and in a surge of resolve, Gilgamesh struck Humbaba down. As Humbaba's form crumbled, the forest released a mournful sigh, its energy dimming as though the life force itself was now forever altered. In the quiet aftermath, a solemn understanding washed over them both. Gilgamesh, having claimed victory, felt no thrill, only the weight of his actions. Enkidu, looking upon the wounded forest, sensed the eternal bond he shared with the natural world weaken, a tether to his primal origins severed by their shared ambition. They gathered the cedar wood and returned to Uruk, but the triumph felt hollow. In the nights that followed, Gilgamesh found himself haunted by dreams of Humbaba's sorrowful gaze, his spectral form appearing in the shadows. Enkidu, too, was troubled, feeling a loss within him, as though he had betrayed something sacred. And so, from that moment, both men's thoughts turned ever more deeply toward their ultimate fear, the inevitability of death. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure with us.